we are going to be successful. In a few weeks, the shop was open. We sell the most expensive products in a country where everybody was going by bicycle.
Name it, most of them are made in China, and most of them are made in our factory. Yeah, I'm telling you. But why these luxury brands never tell you that? Because they are trying to pretend to be products of some sophisticated European countries like Italy or France.
I do feel people started to get tired of purchasing products and realize that we just bought too much. And it didn't really make us happier.
Saw a slowdown and a contraction in the global luxury market. About 50 million people either opted out or were forced out of the luxury market over the past 2 years.
The king of luxury may have just abandoned his throne. Bernard Arnault, billionaire CEO of LVMH, has reportedly fled to Dubai amid swirling rumors of early retirement. But this isn't your typical graceful exit. This comes after an avalanche of scandals, factory leaks, and viral exposes that have obliterated the illusion of European-made elegance. With TikTok whistleblowers dropping receipts, Chinese manufacturers coming forward, and lawsuits erupting across Europe, the house of high fashion is cracking and Arnault may be running from the wreckage. Buckle up. This story doesn't just expose a brand, it unravels an industry. For decades, luxury fashion houses have sold us a fantasy sleek runways, artisanal ateliers in Paris and Milan, and handmade treasures crafted by expert artisans. But now that illusion has been shattered. Chinese manufacturers are openly revealing that many of these so-called luxury items are actually being mass-produced in Chinese factories.
Okay, so with all of the hype about the Chinese-made bags versus in-factory bags, so this is one on the go Louis Vuitton that I bought from DH Gate, and then I also bought it from the actual store.
Brands like Louis Vuitton, Dior, and Gucci have allegedly been outsourcing production overseas while pretending their goods are born in Europe's fashion capitals. According to insiders, the trick is simple. Perform minimal assembly like attaching a strap or adding hardware in Italy, just enough to legally affix a Made in Italy label. The rest? Done thousands of miles away in industrial zones across China. These revelations aren't hearsay, they come with footage, documents, and first-hand testimony. And now, the world is waking up to the fact that their $3,000 bag might have cost less than dinner to produce. The luxury market is facing a crisis not just in supply and production, but in identity. Over the past 2 years, nearly 50 million people have stepped away from high-end fashion, either by choice or necessity. Consumers are burnt out. The thrill of luxury purchases has faded as many realize that they're expensive. Wardrobes haven't bought them happiness, only clutter. What once felt like an investment in status now feels like a scam. People are looking at their designer bags and wondering, was it ever worth it?
Cost Dior less than 60 euros to make a handbag that it sells for nearly 3,000 euros. That's what Italian authorities found out when they raided factories making products for Dior and other fashion brands like Armani.
This shift in mindset has devastated demand, and as the truth about manufacturing spreads, more customers are rethinking their loyalty. The age of blind luxury worship may be over. The new generation wants transparency, ethics, and value, and they're no longer falling for overpriced branding dressed up as craftsmanship. Bernard Arnault, the man who turned LVMH into a luxury juggernaut, is now at the center of a storm he may not survive. Although shareholders approved his reign until age 85, insiders say the 76-year-old mogul is preparing for an early, quiet exit, and not just because of his age. Mounting backlash, viral exposes, and collapsing consumer trust have turned the fashion titan into a liability. Allegedly, Arnault has already relocated to Dubai, a favored haven for billionaires seeking distance from controversy. This isn't retirement, it's retreat. The timing is too perfect, as TikTok floods with factory leaks and LVMH faces lawsuits. In multiple countries, Arnault's sudden vanishing act is raising eyebrows. He may try to spin it as a graceful departure, but the streets are talking. This looks less like legacy building and more like damage control. Italy, long romanticized as the heart of luxury fashion, is now revealing its underbelly. The Italian government has launched legal action against fashion giants including Dior, LVMH, and Armani, accusing them of deceptive labeling and unethical production practices. Court documents reveal that these brands have been funneling work to Chinese-owned sweatshops within Italy itself. Factories like Pelletteria and New Leather Italy SRLS were found operating under horrific conditions, workers unpaid for overtime, stripped of protections, and even sleeping beside sewing machines. Prosecutors placed Dior's official Italian production company under full court control after discovering that a 60 euros bag was being flipped for nearly 3,000 euros. The image of old-world artisans carefully crafting masterpieces has been exposed as a carefully curated myth. In truth, it's mass production and squalid workshops masquerading as heritage. The exploitation doesn't stop at outsourcing. LVMH stands accused of running shadow operations within Europe-hidden workshops staffed by undocumented immigrants and overworked laborers. Investigators discovered that some Dior handbags, retailing for $2,780, were created under conditions that violate every labor standard imaginable. The cost to make them? Just $57. These workers, often without legal status, worked 16 to 18-hour shifts, slept in the factories, and had no access to medical care or basic rights. This isn't just unethical, it's criminal. Yet while these laborers toiled in silence, LVMH executives sipped champagne at fashion galas, parading as the epitome of style and success. The contrast is grotesque. The luxury facade has officially cracked, revealing a system built not on elegance, but on exploitation and greed. Let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets outrageous. The Louis Vuitton Neverfull baguette, staple on social media, flaunted by influencers and celebrities alike, sells for around $1,500. But according to insiders, it costs just $50 to produce. That's a markup of over 1,000%. And it's not just the labor cost, materials aren't even top tier.
A little over 1 square foot of vaqueta leather came out. 2 different finishes. The best vaqueta leathers in the market is $7, $8. At their level, let's give them $10. And you need 2 square foot. So $20 for the leather, $5 for the materials, inner linings, fabrics, authentication, chip, and $10 for the labor.
One leather expert broke it down. They use roughly $20 in leather, $5 in lining, and $10 in stitching and tags. That's $35. Throw in some shipping and branding costs, and it's still barely $50 total. But by the time it hits the boutique, it's dressed up in prestige, heritage, and a price tag that's pure fiction. This isn't luxury. This is a marketing illusion. And consumers are waking up to the fact that they've been paying for a logo, not quality. The TikTok whistleblowers aren't just speaking, they're screaming. One of the most notable figures, Wang Sen, took viewers on virtual tours through factories that looked suspiciously like they were producing Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and Dior, not knockoffs, real identical designs. He claimed that for over 30 years, his factory had been manufacturing for top global brands. But here's the twist. He wasn't proud of it. He said they were paid pennies while the brands made millions. After his videos blew up, TikTok began mass banning his accounts. But it was too late. The footage had gone viral and the message had spread. People saw the truth with their own eyes. And while platforms tried to silence the leaks, alternative apps like Dow and DHgate started soaring, filled with factory direct dupes that looked indistinguishable from boutique originals. And now the manufacturers are fighting back. After decades of being underpaid and overlooked, many Chinese producers are cutting out the middleman entirely. They're going DTC, direct to consumer. No brand logos, no fake labels. Just the same bags, same materials, same stitching without the markup. They're selling $3,000 quality bags for $300 and consumers are eating it up. These factories are done being silent partners. They're flipping the script and reclaiming their role in the luxury narrative. This isn't about counterfeits anymore. It's about access. About breaking the monopoly, about proving that the craftsmanship didn't come from Europe, it came from them. And with global e-commerce platforms rising, the balance of power is shifting. The luxury cartel is being dismantled, one bag at a time. Of course, skeptics are raising questions. Critics in the fashion industry argue that these viral videos might not be showing official luxury production lines. They say the real factories would never risk leaking content due to airtight NDAs and legal contracts. And they're right. If these were legit suppliers, lawsuits would be flying. But that's the twist. Many of the bags shown are likely factory overruns, extra units made with real materials but not officially sanctioned. Others are what experts call mirror quality dupes, crafted using the same designs, specs, and materials. Think of it as cooking from the same recipe in a different kitchen. You might not get the brand's blessing, but you get the same result. And for consumers, that's enough. The illusion of exclusivity is crumbling, and the line between real and replica is blurrier than ever. Now we arrive at the fallout. Louis Vuitton, once the crown jewel of LVMH, is rapidly losing its grip on public trust. What was once seen as the pinnacle of sophistication is now being dissected as a symbol of deception. As more receipts surface, Arnault's empire is under siege. His alleged move to Dubai may not be a retirement, it might be a retreat from a crumbling legacy. And make no mistake, this isn't just a PR hiccup. This could be the largest shakeup in fashion history. Consumers feel manipulated, workers feel exploited, and the public is furious. The luxury world spent decades building an image of perfection, but now, thanks to TikTok, whistleblowers, factory footage, and viral receipts, that image is collapsing. We are watching the fall of a CEO. We may be witnessing the beginning of the end of luxury as we know it.